Hello, self-starters, problem solvers, creative outside-the-box thinkers, and community builders. We need this like water. We need to gush, flow over dips and dives and thrive. We need patience, unconditional love, that authentic when you're down, we're still around type vibes. And you know that self-love should gush and flow over dips and dives. Thank you, young birds. I apologize. The older bird is here to help you realize your time to blossom, rise, revise, and then climb as high as the sky. Don't be shy. No time to compromise. Your anxious thoughts are just lies. With that poem, I'd like to introduce you to this podcast, specially made for positive impact ventures, helping you find your way through the external funding journey as a new entrepreneur or new nonprofit board member. Bird's Eye Impact, where positive ideas take flight. I am Dr. LaToya Hinton. I'm proudly neurodivergent and happy to spread positivity, optimism, and nourishment to advocates for positive change. I want to bring hope and encouragement to folks who are just starting out with their own business or just starting their journey in nonprofit management. I'm a grant writer, researcher, instructional designer, and data analyst. I'm the perfect matchmaker for strategic partnerships that sustain growth and resilience in trying times. Financial trauma recovery tools, the social impact of equitable FinTech. I have with me two amazing neurodivergent women leaders in the financial planning tech space. Okay, so we have Kimiko and Natasha from Pistachio Pay. And first, I am going to have Natasha just introduce herself, and then I'm going to go to Kimiko and let her introduce herself.
Hey,
so go ahead, Natasha. Thank you so much for being here.
We are thrilled to be here. It's just so exciting that people are really rallying around the vision. My name is Natasha Barber, and I'm the founder of Pistachio Pay. And I started this because I struggle, and I'm neurodivergent. And I started doing some research, and I thought, well, you know, if I'm struggling, other people are. And so I started this journey, and it started in May. It's just really amazing to see how people are coming around this, and we're building a fantastic team. I am a non-tech founder. I'm a musician. I went to the Berklee College of Music, nice. but there are certain skills that I've acquired over the 15 years in my particular field that absolutely translate, and I'm learning so much about myself in this startup journey. So it's been pretty great, and I'm loving it, and I get to do it with a friend, not just someone who I work really well with, but somebody who's a good old friend. You're not old. We're not old. No. Thank you. You're a good old friend. And go. It's your turn now.
All right. Yeah, hi. Kimiko, I'd love to hear more about you as well. Please don't hold back on us. Tell us how you got involved with Natasha at Pistachio Pay.
Sure. Well, Natasha and I have been friends for a long time. I was in her wedding. We have worked together. I used to do audio, sound. I used to run the soundboard for her. I am a software developer, but I started out in music technology, actually, and sound design for video games. A little bit of a different field. But yeah, when Natasha brought this up to me, I thought it was a good idea, but I was like, well, that's a good idea, but like a lot of good ideas, you know? So if you need like a business plan, then we'll talk a little bit more. So she went off and she did her and she came back and not only had a business plan, but had like all these followers and this huge LinkedIn profile and this really like a lot of people invested in this idea, lots of interest. So I thought, oh, okay, this is a real thing. So I'm like the tech side of it. and I will be the one helping her build it. We have a clickable prototype so far, but yeah, we're working on building it from the ground up, and it's just, I mean, it's a fun process, you know. It's cool to work with friends.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. I mean, it's so nice to see that too, that your relationship can evolve from being just one of support in like a personal sense to like support in a business sense. And I think it does translate really well because you both came from a music background. So it sounds like you already had that in common. And I know that there are a lot of creatives and also neurodivergent people in those spaces. So it's kind of something that I think probably a lot of people can relate to. If you know, they're creative and they're dabblers and they know that they can translate a lot of their skills from different areas of focus. I'm definitely one of those people.
Yeah.
I have dabbled in so many different career spaces. And I think that that's definitely a strength. And I think that, you know, you have to build on whatever experience you have access to. And so I'm great to, you know, it's great to hear your perspectives and your similarities and your differences. So I guess I'm going to ask Natasha first, just really quickly, like what made you decide to found a social enterprise? Because this podcast, I talk about that quite frequently with nonprofits and social impact business owners.
Yeah, that I have been this way for my whole life. I've been reflecting on this last week. My friend sent me pictures of us when we were 12. Okay, we were Green Day fans and we were punk. We thought we were punk. We weren't punk yet. We became punk, but we were not. And total poser. But at the point where I actually was punk, I started throwing benefit. I threw a benefit concert for an organization called Food Not Bombs, which gave vegan food to the homeless. And it's beautiful.
Nice.
I think they still exist. And so everybody had to bring not only their admission price, but a can of food. And we raised money and I was like, this is who I am. I've always been an active, even when I was a kid, I remember being like, kids have rights too. We have a voice. Like, this is who I am. So to answer, that's number one. It's who I am. That's the answer. Number one. Number two, this is so much more than a FinTech app to me. This is a movement. I'm angry. I'm angry that I've tried every single app out there, all of them. If you name one, I will tell you, yep, I tried it, because anytime there's a new one, I sign up. Try it out, give it the benefit of the doubt. But it really stopped short. And even automation just stopped short of really helping a neurodivergent user navigate financial trauma, navigate putting all their different accounts. And sometimes we have multiple different accounts, and these apps don't care about your neurodivergency. They are just monitoring the math. And so I wanted to develop something that was highly emotionally intelligent. And with the emergence of AI, especially in the last year, I mean, it is just phenomenal. It's been so helpful in my process of developing this. I was able to lay a really strong foundation to be able to bring people on like Kimiko and freaking neurodiagnostic specialists. And I'm even talking to some people from, I'm not going to say the names of the company, but let me just say a company that I really admire, $3 billion company. And I'm meeting with their senior content writer today. So I'm like, okay, these people are inbound. These people are coming. They're excited about the mission. And all I've done, no paid spending, no fancy videos, nothing. I wish I could, but I've just been telling my story. I love pop culture. So I've been weaving a lot of like pop culture, everything is Pistachio Pay. My husband says, I'll be like, right. Like everything's Pistachio Pay. So anything that happens, I can pivot it into content somehow. And it's not about, I'm not thinking about it as content. I'm just like, it's a living journal. This is who I am. And somehow it's really sticky, and they're so excited. And I'm getting to be on podcasts like this and podcasts like the one I was on with Jacob Farkash the other day, Don't Give Up with Jacob. Amazing. Like be able to meet with a 14-year-old boy who is just he's a polymath. He's so awesome. It's amazing. And so I'm finding a ton of support in the neurodivergent community. And I'm just like, yeah, because we need this, because no one else has built it. And one last thing I'll say, things that just fire me up. I mean, the other day I'm doing research and I'm like, wait a second, in the UK, there's this consumer duty policy. Like companies are supposed to promise good outcomes for vulnerable customers. Okay,
Wow.
that includes ADHD,
How progressive?
autism.
How progressive is that?
It is, and 2023 is when this happened, and no one has developed this yet. So if it had to take somebody who's non-tech living the problem, then so be it. But I'm also someone who loves building teams, really is good at leveraging other people's skills, and I have those CEO traits. So I feel like, okay, I'm learning really who I am. I feel so empowered and excited, and I just really want to bring this to the people. And that's what I'm really excited about. I need it myself. I actually am in joblessness right now, right? I don't have a day job. This is what I'm doing. And so I need Pistachio Pay. I would love to have had job loss mode, right? I mean, I'll talk about that if you want later, but yeah, I'll be quiet. I talk too much sometimes, but thank you.
No,
did that answer the question?
You did. And I can hear and see your passion for your work. And I'm super inspired by what it is that you're doing. Especially because you can tell that is an integral part of your business plan, that you're like, how many people can I positively impact with my work? And it's a ripple effect, right? Because being trauma-informed and understanding that there are a lot of neurodivergent folks that are healing from financial trauma is huge. Like, for that to be in the business plan is extremely inspiring. And I think that it's definitely going to set Pistachio Pay apart from other FinTech companies that, don't have that lived experience in mind when they're designing a product. So it's great that is your personal stamp on it, and I'm so excited for you both. I guess my next question, since I talked about that ripple effect of positivity for your client base, how do you expect your positive impact will spread in the next 5 years? And Kimiko, you could maybe talk about this a little bit. And if you want to go, and go in like back end mode and talk about what that's going to look like in the next 5 years, you totally can do that too.
That's fun.
Yes, that's a good question. So as of right now, it kind of depends on where tech is going to go in general. So ours will be incorporating AI. It is, and that's an exciting time for tech. It's also kind of an uncertain time for a lot of people. I know that there's been a lot of job loss. There's been a lot of disruption in various tech industries because of AI. And there's a lot of carelessness, I think, as far as how AI is being used, and why, the lack of rules around it is pretty concerning. So as far as Pistachio Pay, we want to use AI to not to help the user, notice patterns, break habits, bad habits, and inform the user and teach them to, use their money in a more responsible way, or in a way that would help them enjoy their money better. And so as I think AI is probably just going to grow and grow. I'm not sure if it's going to be the end all be all that a lot of industries think it will be. That's just my opinion. But, we're going to be working with it, trying to use it in a responsible way, working around that. So, yeah, it's kind of to be seen. As far as the tech goes, mobile apps, they don't support the neurodivergent. We have several features that we would like to add on to it once we start building the base. They're kind of secret, so I don't want to talk about them.
Yeah, no, that's fine. If you've got some proprietary information, there's no reason that you need to share that. But I also think, I'm just kind of reflecting a lot upon like so many different apps that I have used in the past. And I'm like not bashful about talking about my neurodivergence on this podcast whatsoever. Love coming on here and being my authentic self. And I love kind of thinking about what has helped me and what really hasn't helped me. I think you guys did like a really nice user survey to kind of get to the bottom of like why your product ultimately will be trauma informed, and also like how you're using AI responsibly, right, and ethically. I got that from the survey. I took it and I was like, wow, like I really do feel like this is customized and personal from my experience.
Amazing. That's amazing, Latoya. Thank you for saying that. We need more signups because there's it's a waiting list as well. But yeah, thank you for seeing that. It's huge for us that this is a companion, not just we're doing this for you. And yeah, so I didn't mean to interrupt. It's the ADHD. Sorry, go on.
No, you're good. You're good. Like I definitely am seeing that two-way communication happening in a really splendid way, that folks that can be potential users are already giving tons of feedback. And it's awesome to see that style of design. I worked for a mental health tech company as the director of UX research in the past. And so I know all about that. And building out those effective surveys so people really do feel seen. And they feel like, you're solving some problems that they have right away. I think doing that kind of work from the very beginning, even when you're like pre-seed, is incredible because the better your client base, the more you're going to be able to serve them for the short term and the long term. So it's just exciting to see all of the work that you're doing. This podcast is totally about strategic partnerships. And I guess I'll ask Natasha how you typically approach the topic of building long-term partnerships with other organizations like nonprofits or for-profits.
Oh, I'm so excited about this one. Okay, so yes, I go and I sing. So I go to Union Rescue Mission and I go and I sing there for their staff, and it's just amazing. And for those that aren't familiar, Union Rescue Mission is one of the oldest and largest rescue missions that serve people who are, have housing insecurity in the country. And so they're at Skid Row. So if you're familiar with Skid Row, not the band, but the players had to be. But the older people will get that one. Anyway, so I go there and I my wheels are just spinning going, okay. So I saw these two guys that they had literally come through. They were on Skid Row. They were the type of people who you look on the street and you're like, oh my gosh, they're like covered. You can't even see the person sometimes. And they were completely free and alive and they have jobs and they're doing well. But my question is, how are they doing in 5 years? Are they struggling with money just like the rest of us do? Yes. That's true. Number two, is it affecting their relapse rates? Because a lot of people who are, on the street are people who have life controlling issues. And sometimes either it's that, or if maybe they have money stress and they can't get to their psychiatrist, they can't get their medication. So then they don't have what they need. And maybe their schizophrenia rears its ugly head and starts affecting their finances. So I started asking these questions and the staff is like, yes, of course, like all of that. And so they do bring in financial counselors and people, and God bless those people that they come and they spend their time. That is incredible. But what about something that's 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, coming alongside you, paying your bills and helping you spend money on what you want to spend money on? And we believe, and we can't wait to see this, that there'll be some sort of a Pavlovian effect in a way. I don't know if that's really the right term, but in my mind, it works. I'm imagining myself going, okay, it's Wednesday and I'm almost out of money again. Dang it. Like, Pistachio Pay, what am I doing? Right. And Kimiko's built this already. We can chat with it. And, well, hey, I see that you go to Starbucks every day. What do you spend money at Starbucks? I buy a venti coffee and a bagel. I don't, but let's say I did. Well, if you got a bag of bagels from home, it would cost, you'd save this much each day. If you got a grande instead of a venti. So it's things like that also that we can come alongside the user and help them. And I was explaining this at URM and they're like, oh my goodness, we are in. So we can do pilots with them. I will be talking to other organizations that I have volunteered with for years. So I see it there. I was just thinking this morning, I'm going to be going to a convalescent home next week to sing for them. And I thought, well, not maybe convalescent home, but let's talk about retirement communities. Let's talk about the silver tsunami. There's a big wave that's probably already here of the largest aging population ever in history. Right. So like, what's the truth? They have cognitive decline. You could be sharp as a tack like my Nana, but she still forgets a bill now and then. She's really good with money. But there are others that, well, how do we come alongside them and help them? Because they're going to need it. And we're going to be completely overwhelmed with this new demographic of people probably living into their hundreds. So
definitely.
Right. So that's one. I mean, there's just so many communities. It's called the curb effect. So when curbs were made for wheelchairs on the streets, they were made for wheelchairs, but who else uses them? Who else? Strollers, deliveries, right? People that are, I don't know, roller skates, bicycles. Yeah. So it's a thing. It's an actual term. I mean, this is something same thing, Pistachio Pay. We're building for this wedge for neurodivergent people, yes. But we know that it's going to meet the needs of people that have life controlling issues like addiction, or people that struggle in more, with remembering things and memory issues. So I hope that answers the question. Prison ministry, prison fellowships and prison re-entry programs. Just to be able to give them something that will help them not get back into those bad habits, because you probably have more money than you think you do. The prison population has a huge percentage of people that are neurodivergent. Crazy numbers. I mean, I don't have those memorized, but wild off the charts. And a lot of them are underdiagnosed because they come from communities that are underserved and they can't get the diagnosis. They don't even know why they fall into these habits. What if we gave them a tool to help them enjoy their money, make money in ways that are good for their lives instead of destructive for their lives, right? Like, our app's not going to help them make their money, but it's going to help them spend it and keep it and use it well, if that makes sense. So I am somewhere, and I'm talking with someone in prison. I don't want to say reform, but reentry programs. So I'm all of it. I mean, I could go on and on. I don't want to take all the time. It's just so exciting.
No, I think it's amazing that you're imagining all of these different client bases, right? You've got all these different markets, right, that need this help with personal finance. And I think, talking about elderly populations, when we talk about like disability, and you talk about, working memory issues and stuff like that, like there are so many different people that are, affected by that. So I think that, it won't be limited necessarily to people who identify as neurodivergent, right? Because some of the older generation, they don't even know what the word neurodivergent means, but they still need the support, right? And so I think that universal design is just phenomenal. That you mention, being able to create more access for more people, essentially, is what you're saying. And so that's amazing to hear. And I guess
my dog is annoying. I'm sorry. She's just go away. Okay. Go play over there.
Mine is over here. He's just like lying down. He's been super good, but that's not always the case. So I completely understand.
Lucille Ball Barber, you knock it off. Mom's busy. Go on. I'm super excited seeing that. And one last thing, we're also really excited about, like, my nephew Hudson is level 3. He has level 3 autism. He's not verbal, and he is verbal, but in his own way. Look, he has things that he loves, and that he has things that he loves, and that he has preferences. We very strongly like certain types of music, and he'll get his parents' card number, and they'll get like huge Amazon shipment. So we want to make sure that he always has agency over his money, right? Because he'll have an inheritance and he'll have SSI. I want him to be able to spend the money on what he wants to spend his money on. So this is, we're going to create, we don't know what it'll look like yet, but we're going to create that too. And so this is just huge. But we're not the type of founders that are like, we're trying to do all that right now. We're trying to get the best, most effective thing that we can get out, simple and beautiful. And that's what we're doing. And we're about building best, aren't we, Kimiko? Kimiko said that we're like Melania. Don't say that. This is not be best. Build best. Right. Stop that we don't associate. Anyway, sorry. I'll leave that one.
Kimiko's just kind of like listening to all of these like visionary ideas, and I'm sure you have a lot to say on this topic, Kimiko, as well, like in terms of universal design and taking in lots of different consumer supports and needs into consideration. And I think like the partnerships, like being able to have the app get in front of lots of different audiences and getting lots of feedback from different people is going to be amazing. And I think that it is going to create this sense of community where maybe you don't typically see it. One of the things that you had mentioned with populations of folks that are re-entering society from incarceration, I thought about dream.org as a partner, because I know that that's kind of a lot of the work that they do, creating awareness about addiction and
wrote it down.
Creating awareness about like holistic well-being for folks who have been in those circumstances, but are still, human beings that are learning and, finding ways to build healthy relationships. And I think that, that just speaks to me on so many different levels, especially in terms of, equity and restorative justice and just amazing values, right? So I'm definitely relating to a lot of what you're saying. I kind of participate in these healing circles where folks in the criminal justice system come together with like educators and therapists and try to break down some silos that have existed, for decades, where folks, are just kind of not talking to each other across the aisle. And so I just, I think that, when I hear that's, part of how you'll expand your app in the future, I just think like, oh man, that's so powerful.